So these two are really powerful. If you do any instructional stuff, this is really good. It's called Screencastify. It's free, and it records video on your desktop. So it's screen capture video. So when people look at this later, they're going to see my cursor going across the screen like this as I talk. And you can choose to embed the webcam or not. People respond to faces, so I recommend that you do it. Pops it down the bottom. This one is a screen capture.
Which one was that?
Screencastify. I'll have it in the resources page. And this is recording now. So yeah. This one makes GIFs out of videos. It's kind of fun. You can take any video, grab the time, and it'll make a GIF out of it. There are literally millions of extensions. So you go to, I'll show you how to do it. You go over here to your little ladder. Some people call it the sandwich board. And you go to more tools, extensions. And when you get in here, you might want to do something for bookkeeping. And there's going to be extensions for that. For time management, there's going to be extensions for that. Anything you want, there's extensions for it. So it's a powerful, powerful tool for small businesses. All right. And it's free. The vast majority of them are free. Everything I just showed you is free. So it's hard to beat free. So, yeah. So anything you do every day, just search it in Google extensions, Chrome extensions, and you'll find something for it. I showed you what I use it for. Test web pages, post social media, bookmark pages. There's another one in there called Drag Dis. And what you do is you drag your web page and you drop it into these folders. So it's bookmarking, but it's live. It's a lot more functional than standard bookmarking. And then you can share those pages. It's really effective. Email marketing. This is probably the biggest tool that you need to think about outside of just standard web browsing tools. I'm going to recommend MailChimp. MailChimp has the highest ceiling of free or low-cost interaction with a high level of functionality. Okay, so there's Constant Contact, there's Aweber, there's Infusionsoft. A lot of these are more expensive. A lot of them are quite a bit more expensive. Like Infusionsoft is $200 a month. And they go up from there. I mean, but you really don't need that. Standard, simple interaction is what you need. What you want to look at is the dynamic interactive email marketing campaign. That's really what you're looking at. Which means if you click on my link in my email, I've got a 12-part email going out. You're going to get one a week. You click on the link in the first one. And if I've set it up this way, if you make a choice on that, you're going to go into a different campaign. You're no longer going to get those 12. Maybe this is introduction to integrated marketing. And in the first or second email, I say, would you like more detailed information? Yes. You no longer get these. You now go to the second batch. It's really effective. Anytime you can get a prospect to make a choice, that's powerful. Because you've learned so much about just their own mental processes vis-a-vis what you sell, right? Like if you're selling books, let's say you do romance, adventure, and then some other type of novel. Let's just say for the sake of argument. And you've got them in their general bucket. It's almost like your 5 steps to the sale. You're in your greeting phase, and they make a choice. They go down to that lower level. Well, you don't want to keep talking about this up here. You talk about this new thing down here, okay? And then MailChimp is pretty good about integrating purchase function inside of it. But this is, again, where landing pages come in. Landing pages are really important. You want to push people from an email out to a landing page, not to general pages on your website. You want it siloed again, right? You don't want them to have a lot of options because then how are you going to test their behavior, right? Okay. MailChimp, talking about that. Decent automation's pretty good. The more advanced you get in automation, that's when you start paying the extra money. But don't do that early because you're just wasting money. Until you really know your stuff inside and out for your own self, how you want to interact with your customers, you shouldn't pay extra money to interact with them. It just doesn't make any sense. Final tips. Who should you pay? This is probably the biggest question for small business owners. It's always, when do you interact with paid services, right? When do I do this myself and when do I not? Now, some of you probably saw me bring this expensive bat in. This cost me like $4. Does anybody know, can you read this? 20%. Does that bring anything to mind? 80-20 rule. It's also called the Pareto principle. In 1896, this guy named Pareto in Italy was growing peas in his garden. And he noticed that 20% of his pea pods produced 80% of his peas. And so he started thinking about that. And he started looking around. He's like, well, in my lab, 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Interesting correlation. And as he started applying these things, he pushed out that observation farther. Well, in like 95, another guy picked that up and really started making it more popular, a more popular observation. Now, where a bat comes into play is the sweet spot. Anybody not heard of the sweet spot on a bat? So in a bat, a sweet spot is when you swing the bat, you're in a physical process, right? Physics takes over. So the sweet spot is a spot on the bat where the balance of the mass meets the ball in such a way that the most mass possible, or the most velocity or force possible, is imparted from this bat, from this mass to the mass of the ball. The most power, loosely defined, I know engineer people are going to correct me on that probably because I don't know physics that well, but the most effect you can have, let's say, is going to happen in this certain range. Now, it just so happens that's about 20% of the mass of the bat. Why does that matter in this question, who should you pay? Well, there's a place in your business that you are the most effective. It may not be being in front of people. You may need to hire a salesperson. It may not be in the back end. I'm horrible at minutia. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. You put the decimal in the wrong place. Normally I'm not going to do that because I like numbers, but I don't like fill this paper out. My life force starts getting drained. But other people love that. That's the person you want to hire. That's who I need to hire. I'm great at strategy. I'm pretty good at tactics. I'm not good at like the minutia of measurement. That's who I need to hire. So then the 20% I need to focus on, which produces my 80. My 20 that produces my 80 is strategy, being in front of people, producing incoming interest, right? For you, you got to figure out what that is for you and quit doing the rest of it. You're wasting your time. A great way to put it is like this. A guy I listen to online a lot. His name's Pat Flynn. Smart Passive Income podcast, by the way. If you like entrepreneurship and small business, you'll love that guy. He gives away a lot of free stuff. It's amazing. But one of the guys was going through his mastermind, and the guy asked him, how much would you pay a designer? Anybody in the room, what do you think a designer costs? $70 an hour at the most, probably. You can get a good designer, probably. Huh? Designer for what? Graphics. Oh. Yeah, I should have said graphics designer. Not a fashion designer. That would be odd. So the point here is, how much would you pay them? $70 an hour? How much are you worth? Now, this might shock you, but as a business owner, do you know how much you're worth per hour? Huh? Lots. What is lots? Numbers. I need numbers. $200 an hour. That's a starting point. Starting point. When you get successful, you're worth more like $500, $700 an hour. So now the question becomes, are you going to pay a designer $700 an hour? Of any type, graphics, whatever. No, well, that's what you're doing. When you do something you're not good at, that's what you're doing. You're taking the highest worth you have and applying it to the lowest point that you can. So it's wasting money. I mean, you were literally taking money out of your pocket, taking a Zippo lighter out and lighting it on fire because you don't want to hire somebody. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm the same. So I'm not preaching like I'm some master at this. I encounter this every day. The best thing you will ever do is hire somebody to do something you're not good at. All right. So now,
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the term for pay for all the new recipes?
Oh, yeah. So pay a graphic designer, pay somebody to make pretty images. If you know a photographer, we'll start at the top. I'm sorry, I'm going to start at the top. if you know a photographer, if you're not a photographer, you don't take good pictures. And when I mean good pictures, I mean pictures that make people go, ooh. If they don't do that, get somebody else to do it. So going back to your thing, let's say we're going to start this group with Jose, okay? This would actually be an interesting group project. We're going to start this group with Jose. Well, all the things we're talking about: California, Austin, engineer, silicon, what was it? Semiconductor. You need pictures for all this stuff. So I'm going to go find a photographer. Now, if I can't trade with them, offer a photographer. Say, look, man, woman, whatever it is. I just want to be sensitive to that because I know it's a sensitive thing now. And it's important. It's important to acknowledge that. All photographers are not men. I don't know if you know that. It's true. Find some time that a photographer's down. Photographers have a lot of time that they're down, that don't have something to pay. Say, look, man, I will buy you lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go spend a day with me and let's go take some pictures. I've already got this list. Work hard. Spend some time figuring out exactly what you want to do. The more focused you are, the more effective it's going to be. Just go take me some pictures of this stuff. Go take pictures of me with it. Go take pictures of you in front of Austin stuff. Going like, people love that kind of stuff. The Twitter, the picture that's on the end of this is me with two thumbs. It's right there. People love it. I took that picture just as a lark. A photographer friend of mine was doing headshots as a favor to our networking group. That picture's 6 years old. I still use it because people love it. I have a hard time taking like headshots seriously. I can't do this. Whatever that pose is, the thinker pose. Anyway, so do that. Get you a bunch of images, and they're going to look great, and you can use them forever. And guess what? You'll never age. It's a good thing. Pay a strategic planner. Every couple of years, you need to set aside a few $100. Get a strategic planner that has done work. Get some recommendations. Not all strategic planners are created equal. I know a great one, but you need to set aside a few $100 because this directs your entire business. Okay, I'm not saying I don't know what Score's tools are for this, so I don't know what their engagement is. Whatever, I'd go to them first, find out what they do, but pay somebody. And there's something that happens when you pull money out of your pocket and pay for something. There's a mental process. You take that much more seriously. Okay, so free stuff is great. But eventually get off the free train because your mind is not valuing that, okay? Start paying for it. Even if it's $20, buy them lunch, buy them dinner, whatever it is. So pay a strategic planner. Pay for overview 1 to 3 times per year. What are you trying to do? Let's say you're trying to start this group. If you came to me, I wouldn't even let you hire me right now. You're not ready. If you don't understand Twitter and Facebook groups, you're not ready to hire me. First thing I want to tell you to do is go get in some groups, go get in some Twitter, get into that stuff, start using it. Use it every day and for 3 or 4 months. Even start a group that's not this one. Start another one just for the exercise. Get into that. Start trying it. Then come and let's talk. Once you understand the tactics of what you're trying to do, now let's talk strategy and we'll do some overview stuff, okay? It'd be like you haven't even bought hiking boots yet and you're coming to me in house shoes. And I'm not disparaging you. I'm just saying the general you. You want to know how to get up this mountain and you're in house shoes. Well, the first thing you got to do is get some hiking boots. Then you need to break those suckers in. You don't need to be going on your hike not broken in your hiking boots, okay? So get expert input. Every dollar you spend on somebody who's already been on the mountain, up the mountain, it's going to save you time and money and possible death. You know, some of the most famous people that have climbed Everest, right, are the dead people. It's true. We tend to tell stories about the way people die. Did you hear about, well, actually yesterday, I was going to say somebody who did a truck crash as a joke, but gosh. This woman in Oklahoma was drunk, and she is driving with her kid in the car. She bends over to buckle the kid in the car and falls out of the truck. The kid's like, I got to take control of the situation. He's 3 years old. He stands up, waddles over to the wheel, and starts manning the wheel. Drifts across 4 lanes of traffic, hit a curb, and stopped. People remember stuff like that, but they remember because it was a disaster. Don't be a disaster, right? If you've seen the latest Everest stuff, I don't know if you know this, a little fascinating fact. All the people who've died on Everest are still there. They're all still there. They pass them. They're like monuments. Yeah, don't do what that guy did. That guy forgot his oxygen, and there he is. There's his rib cage right there. Track. Oh, yeah, don't do what that guy did. He didn't tie his tent down right, and he froze to death. Track, right? So pay to know what to do, okay? There's people out there who know what to do. And again, I can't emphasize enough, Don't stay on the free train. I'm telling you from personal experience, I was the same way. I'm trying to go free this, free that, free that. The first time I paid for something, my brain went, okay, now we're serious. Now we're serious. Even if it's my mentor who at the time wasn't charging me anything, I always bought him dinner or lunch or whatever we were doing. And I was broke back then. It was a big deal to buy a $20 dinner. It's a big deal for me back then. So I'm not speaking from somebody who hasn't been through this, okay? This is a really serious question you should be asking yourself every day. You should really sit down at least once a month and be very serious about this. What are you planning to do? Because if you don't know that, you're planning to fail. My business coach says this all the time. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan and end up planning to fail. Okay? If you don't know a plan and you haven't deployed your plan and you're not measuring your results, what are you tweaking? And if you're not tweaking, what are you doing? What are we doing? What I'm doing today, this is a plan. This started 6 months ago. I built out a plan. I said I want to do more public speaking because I already have the material. This is all material that I've been building for years. That's just the way my brain works. Everything I do, if I'm driving down the road, I'm thinking about how I would present this in a presentation. That's just the way my brain works. And one day I'm like, well, I might as well start doing some presentations. So I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish my book. Then I want to build on this foundation. I'm going to use and build tutorials out with it. And what I want to do is I want to own these certain ideas. Okay? And this is part of that plan. So as I do these things, this is the first phase of this. The SCORE folks and I connected a couple months ago, and this is the second one of these so far. And so this all is part of a plan. Now I'm going to measure the output of that. What effect am I having in the community? What is this doing? Is this what I wanted? You're always going to have better outcomes sometimes than you wanted. You're like, hey, here's a new gift. And then sometimes things aren't going to go the way you wanted. You measure, you tweak, build your strategy, deploy your strategy, measure your results. Then you tweak. Then you deploy that strategy. See what I'm saying? So the point of this is if you don't have a clear plan, somebody should be able to walk up to you any day of the week and go, what are you planning to do today? I ask this question all the time on Instagram. So I'll show you exactly how to do this. So I want to put this on Instagram. They have this nice little 10-second video feature. I gained 2 followers while we were sitting here because of stuff I posted about what we were talking about on Instagram. Instagram is very effective right now. All right, so we're going to do this video real fast. I'm going to include you guys in a little bit here. We just ask the question, what are you planning to do today that grows your business? All right, so I'm going to post that, and that's going to get interaction, okay? I'm telling you, Instagram is the bomb. You definitely need to be on Instagram right now. It's harder to interact with. Instagram is harder to interact with because it's not like Twitter. You don't go, I saw a cat. What color cat was it? It was a cute little fuzzy cat. Oh, I love fuzzy cats. Can you post a video of a fuzzy cat? Oh, I love that. You can't do that as easy on Instagram as you can on Twitter. You can, but it's not as easy. You also can't post links. So there are some weaknesses, but get on it because it's coming. It's coming. They're the whole team developed just to make Instagram work for businesses. All right. Does anybody have any final questions?
So Periscope does. What does Periscope do?
Periscope is just a streaming video service.
Okay.
But if you save it, there's an option there, and you save it for
Posting.
well, you save it into your gallery, and that allows you to post it to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's live, but then it also is able to be posted. Yeah. But man, I mean, people do the most nonsense stuff. I'm cooking beans, and people watch. So get on your own subject. Have a meeting. Oh, great. You 3 sit there and talk about job searches and Periscope that conversation. But make sure, watch your background noise. Because if your background noise is too much, nobody will be able to hear you. But yeah, you could do that. And you save that. You pop that up to YouTube. And I guarantee you there's not very many people doing that. Guarantee you. Because most people are doing the thing everybody else does. I'm looking for a job. How are you looking for a job? I'm looking for a job. But yeah, but how are you doing that? Well, I'm looking for a job. Well, yeah, but how? Well, I'm going to the place that they talk about jobs and I'm looking. That's what we all do. So if you want to stand out from the herd, you stand out from the herd. You do something different than the herd does, right? And that's not knocking the herd. I promise I'm not being like condescending. I'm just saying, if you want to take a position of any kind of leadership or do something, you always have to do something different than what's being done in front of you.
But are you, so what do you call that? Is that just marketing, social marketing, online marketing? Are you trying to build a marketing profile online?
I like to-
Are you trying to get a customer base? Or
Well,
trying to make a sale?
what is a customer? Let's go back. You remember my definition of a sale? A sale happens when the right solution reaches the right problem at the right time. So it's not about marketing. It's not about sales. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about problem solving. So problem solving is about a thing. It's about a problem. It's about pain. It's about personality. Okay? So I'm going to talk about that. The other stuff's going to follow. Remember the metaphor of the 18-wheeler. You've got the cab that pulls the thing. Don't let the thing pull the cab. Don't make the wrong thing pull it. Always be solving problems. Somebody, I can't remember who said this. I just read the quote yesterday. I loved it. If you want to change somebody's life, change their day. The biggest changes you ever remember are things that made your day-to-day life easier. You like to think it's the big mountaintop quotes. Dream big, be awesome, be yourself, and all this other stuff. It's really not. It's about use a fork this way, you don't poke yourself in the eye anymore. Changed my life. My eye is so much better. That's a metaphor but it's really true. I mean, the stuff I've talked to you about email, when Boomerang came in, man, I felt like I've been poking myself in the eye the whole time. Because now this thing, it's completely revolutionized the way I do email. There's nothing inspirational about that. Steve Jobs was not talking about that on the stage at his launch summits. But the reality is when you make somebody's life better, especially in a granular, everyday way, you change their life. And you've got a place in their soul now. You really do. You're somebody who's meant something to me now. Okay? So this is me all over online. I don't know if I can't edit this right now. My phone number is 512-876-9111. If you'll text me and include your email address, I will email you when I have the resource page for this finished. I'll have all this. I'll throw some other videos in there. You can search it on YouTube also. Just search Kyle Bailey Austin on YouTube. And there's a bunch of tutorials. You have to get through my music stuff. There's like 9 videos from last night, my buddy playing. But there's lots of tutorials in there. So any other final questions? I know we're getting down on time. Yes? You mean for people? Yeah, I do what I call offhand interviews. I don't try to make it slick, but I'm going to tell you something. People buy raw. They like raw. They like unfiltered, unedited. They're tired of slick. We've been doing slick for 100 years, and they're tired of it. I do that. I do interviews, like business interviews. I can't do them for free. It just takes too much time. Here's how the process works. We do an email. We email back and forth. We're going to nail down some basic questions. I'll give you a framework that I recommend. You can do whatever you want, because it's your stuff. But then we come down with those final questions, and then we'll sit down and talk. We have to sit down and talk somewhere we can hear, but then we'll do that. Yeah. There's a lot of services I offer. I'm not here to sell. I'm not here to pitch, but there are a lot of things I do. But you can learn a lot just through my free tutorials. Anybody else? I thought I saw a hand. No hands. Yes.
You said that you were going to ask for, what is it, recommendations?
Oh, yeah. So what I would like, who's on LinkedIn? Okay, so we got to connect first. So if you request me, I'm the Kyle Bailey on LinkedIn. You can connect with me, and then I will ask for recommendation. And the frame of that is I attended Kyle's presentation on integrated digital marketing for small business owners, and I found it to be X. And then whatever descriptive narrative you would like to include is fine. I really want to know if there's if you feel like there was something that I could do better, what good you found out of it is really important to me, because that helps me shape the future ones. Okay? So like I said before, in the same way that I said before, I'm not trying to get you to give me a positive recommendation. I'm really trying to get at what was good for you, what worked for you, and what didn't. So if there's nothing else, I am done.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amount of stuff, not in terms of.
Yeah. Seemed like we've been here forever. Well, I know we got really, really granular on that last section. And I know I could tell some people would get a little glazed over, but unfortunately,
Tremendous amount of content for. Please fill out your evaluation forms for SCORE. Hal's gonna be back next week with another presentation.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? So,
Yeah.
come back and register on the library or SCORE sites.
We do have it already planned, but if you will contact them or me, tell me what you would like to know, and if I get enough of a consensus around some things, I'll include that. Because I really want it to be beneficial for you. I really want you to walk out going, I can do ABC better now because of this information. That's what I really want. So,
What's it supposed to be next week?
I think it's overview or some a little deeper dive on some of the social
Website,
media.
kind of, use your website.
With your website as a what? Marketing tool?
uh-huh.
Yeah. So that'll include some of the stuff we talked about today, and I'll go through. It's going to be more. I mean, if you have a laptop, you should definitely bring it because I'll be going through some. Especially if you have a WordPress site, if you don't, it's probably not going to help you very much because other platforms just aren't they're not easy enough to use. They're not dynamic enough. So anybody who's not on WordPress, you should definitely think about getting on WordPress. The main reason, I'll finish with this, I won't talk anymore. I know it's hard to believe. The main reason is, if you can think of imagining that there are millions of people right now, while you're sleeping, working to make your website better, that's what WordPress is. And they don't charge you any money. It's a powerful, powerful tool. Yeah. So, yes, all that and more.
As Kyle said, he's got like 8 other presentations.
Yeah.
So if you have some feedback,
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I want it to be effective for you. So anything that you would like included, just let me know, and I'll see if I can do that. Can't promise it, but maybe. Drupal is it's more for people who know about developing websites. But the biggest thing is it doesn't have as many. There's so many plugins that WordPress has that make your life easier and are integrated for marketing that work. I've had developers tell me that Drupal has as many, but I've never seen it be effectively the same. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that LinkedIn may not be as effective anymore, but since I'm starting a new business, should I start a new?
You should use all. You should use all.
And how did, because I'm so prominent in my current business,
What is your name?
I'm in commercial real estate.
Okay.
So everything is full, like all of this is
That's great.
But now so I'm starting this. Actually, nobody right now. Nobody. I'm literally nobody right now. Nobody. And my new business I'm starting.
What is your business?
We are manufacturing and selling shoes. So that when you travel, you protect your shoes and
Well, what I would, the first strategic thing I would do is leverage their current relationships. So I go to anybody that loves commercial real estate, that loves business, that loves use them in something you say, let me do this. You already have people who love you, leverage them.
and also what I do is bags or shoes.
Okay.
And I have a brand just on it to shine your shoes on the bag.
Really a smart thing.
Yeah, so that's the word.
Oh, I don't talk at all. But for the things I'm trying to get a video to show people how to type shoes and this is for any shoes, dress shoes, dog shoes, any shoes, women's shoes. I use myself.
Take this.
Oh, just do it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
If nothing else, you're going to find out what you want. Yeah. So just you pop it in this. And what I would do is,
So you buy this on the house?
this is 10, this is like 20.
So what's that called?
Oh, it's just a cell phone adapter for a tripod. Yeah.
that the brand, RTI?
Yeah, but just go to Amazon. You'll see the ones that have high ratings. Use Amazon. Amazon ratings are just outstanding. They're the best thing ever. You're crowdsourcing value.
So I guess just put it in front of you like this and then just.
Yeah, it's probably best to just have somebody else there to actually film you because you're gonna have a hard time keeping it centered. But yeah, if you use it like this, so you can use this handle. That's why I bought this because it has a handle. Yeah, that's why I pulled it out to show you how this works. So then you're using it like this, but it takes the handshake out. It's Amazon's word. It's Amazon. That's why.
I take a lot of photos, but look at this.
It's 20, maybe 30, but it's not much.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. And this works really well.
Okay, you're right.
It's got a thing there.
Okay.
Thank you,
Well,
Lily.
appreciate it very much.
That was really good, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, goodness.
Hey, Kyle, does, WordPress have a way to do a digital store on there? Like, can you?
Depends on how much you're selling. How many products do you have?
We don't have anything yet, but I was just wondering this way, like, we're a dental office, so not, I mean, it would be like, you know,
What are you selling?
somebody has song care.
Oh, yeah.
White
Well, you
meat,
can just set up
white
pages
meat.
for that. The easy way to do that is to use PayPal for the purchase. It costs you like if a credit card company charges you like 1.5%, 2%. You know, PayPal's probably charging you 3.5%, but you get all these business tools with it. So you can embed purchase buttons. If you do, like with Sonicare, if you sell the refills, you can set them up on recurring. You do auto ship. That's a nice way to have some recurring revenue. So like if they do it every 3 months, it just auto ships.
So would you be able to speak on that next week? I've got a friend that's revamping our website for.
I can use that but most people don't sell recurring products like that. But I can. That's a really good point. I'm going to email that to myself. That's a good point. I'm glad you asked that. I'm going to include that. I'll do that live.
Okay.
I'll actually create the button on PayPal, and then I'll embed it. And I'll probably already have the stuff created for it because you don't need to watch me create the content. But that's a good point. I actually have done a lot of writing and content work for a dentist.
I just friended you on Facebook, and I noticed you have two mutual friends, Carter Lunn and Becky Matthews. And I know Becky's Dan Matthews' wife. So I don't know if you know them or
No,
do.
there's just a
People
residual.
like you. I mean, somebody would come to me and say, "Oh, you know Lisa," and you'd be like, "No," you know.
Well, it's one of those
But-
things. Back when Facebook didn't have their friend feed choked down so much, I just friended everybody.
Yeah.
Just to grow the footprint. So that's a residual from that. I used to have over 5,000 friends before they choked it back to 5,000 or under. Then I've just slowly been culling it, just people that aren't either not local or something, you know. So I'm down to like 3,800 now.
Do you do Lone Star Perio?
Used to.
Okay.
Used to.
I saw that on one of your things you were showing. I
Yeah,
was like,
Chris
oh,
Bingham. Yeah, yeah. He was my first dental client. They've slowed
Did
down.
they split up or something, or was that like where they had like a change in
Before,
people?
when Chris came in, Holdsclaw used to be there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Holdsclaw owned that before.
Well, so yeah, the person that I want to come hear you speak next week, she's, it's Travis Medical. It's a local company here that does like medical supplies. And so I know she's trying to bring that because it's a real old website. It looks very, it's not mobile, I just noticed.
Oh,
So
most
I
of
was
them are,
like,
if they're old.
but I think she's trying to do the you know, could be a client for you.
Oh, sure,
Yeah, but I know that she was wanting about like online ordering or whatever. They were trying to make that easier.
Yeah, the easy way to do it, man, is PayPal. That's the
Think
easiest way to
about
do
it. I
it.
mean, you know, you think in that kind of situation that most people who Travis Medical would be older folks, but then you've got people who are need recurring medical supplies, maybe that are, you know, younger.
Mhm.
People are getting
Well, but mobile
like the people that are
has-
taking care of them are our age, you know, like I'm going to start taking care of my mom in the next, 5 years or something.
Mm.
So I want it to be very user friendly for me, even though I'm taking care of an older person.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
so-
But even beyond that, mobile has jumped the user adoption curve that normally is present. So normally, as the demo is older, the user adoption of online tools and things is lower. But mobile has jumped that. It's jumped the generation.
yeah.
It's become so easy.
Mhm.
You need almost no sophistication to be able to use it now. So it's made online shopping and things push into the older demo. So it's a very fascinating time to be alive, man, because that's never happened in history.
Did I understand correctly that even though somebody's tested our website to see if we're mobile compatible, that if we have one of those sliders where photos are sliding across, that that's a lie, we're not really mobile compatible?
Well, okay,
Our mobile
so
whatever,
you are
Google.
technically mobile friendly, but all that means is that your site scales. It doesn't mean that it's going to be good to engage with necessarily. So sliders is one. I mean, my site has sliders, but it's just because I've got to revamp the site. You have to change it. So you got to figure out what strategically the thing you want people to see first. That's the big thing. What's the core thing you're trying to say to somebody? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you have a card or something? Did you connect with me on LinkedIn or whatever?
I connected with you on Facebook just now, but
Okay.
not LinkedIn yet.
Oh, that's right. I was going to include.
You kept saying networking groups. Are you part of BNI?
I
Have you
am
done that?
about to join one in down south. A friend of mine, they have one down
We're
there.
part of a group, and it's really good.
Which one?
We're a referral powerhouse.
But
and
where-
kind of
where-
central
where's it?
Munis.
On Mopac? Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
already have a website guide, but I would
I've
definitely
visited there
recommend it,
before.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for coming. Oh, that's fantastic.
Good. I'm very glad. I'm very glad that,
Yeah.
that you liked it.
Pretty amazing.
Okay. She asked a question. I want to make sure and include it next week.
No, that's fantastic.
Good.
And I meant that as a compliment. Not information you gave. And that was also, I guess, the one comment I heard was you almost overwhelmed me. Sure. So,
Yeah. And when you were over there, was talking about that, and it was like, the problem is you got some people that know something.
there are different levels, yeah. Right. And you're gonna have that again. You're gonna be different levels.
But then also, I'm not saying he does or anybody does, but I know there's an electrician out there. I'm going to do this thing. This is going to be the one that fixes it all.
Yeah.
And, I've spent
You can't do that.
years
You can't do that. Yeah.
years learning this stuff. So, and that's what I was telling him. I was like, even if you hired me and I can sit down for 6 hours
Yeah.
and went granular, question by question, you still wouldn't be there. So, it's there's too much out there.
I really like your sales stuff. That was fantastic.
That has meant so much to me because as I went through my own.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. What's your
Thank
name?
you. Sylvia.
Sylvia? Thank you, Sylvia. Are you coming next week?
I'm going to try.
Awesome.
Unless I have a job.
Hey,
Sorry, that truck.
what kind of job are you looking for?
I'm in nonprofit management.
Okay. Very nice.
Association.
Nice.
You have a grumpy board? I can help.
That sounds like a blog post. I'm dead serious. You should blog on that.
Grumpy
That's a good
boards?
idea.
I can help you.
5 ways I solved your grumpy board.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm dead serious. You ought to blog on it.
I had that little going while you were talking. So
Yeah. You know what I do is I always have my email right on the front of my phone.
Send yourself emails.
If I get an idea like that, I'll just pop it out on an email. There's also a voice recorder on here.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going home, I'm driving or whatever, I just hit that. One push, record. I just pop it out. Then I upload that to Google Drive, and then I can pull it later and transcribe it or get it to a transcriber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, always thinking.
Always think.
That's it. Always. Well, the thing is, if you leave it, you forget it,
Yes.
and then you don't have it anymore.
Yes.
You go, oh, that great idea that I had.
It's like when you wake up in the middle of the night
Right,
with this
yeah.
fabulous idea.
You've got some fragment of it left.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, you've solved the world's issues and you can't remember how.
Then it turns out it was donuts. It's like that. Did you ever see that Seinfeld episode where he did that? He's like, I woke up in the middle of the night, I wrote this down. And for the whole episode, he's looking for the piece of paper. And then he said, it's the best joke ever. It had the best setup and the best premise and everything. It was just the most brilliant thing, and now I can't find it. So very close to the end. Oh, I found it. And he's with Elaine. And he reads it and he goes, that's not funny. Have you ever woke up from a dream that it's like while you were dreaming it, it was made perfect sense. Then you wake up and you go,
What?
marshmallows? Yeah.
I was with who?
I'm going to go back and get
Oh,
a
yeah, no
prescription
problem.
for my wife. So
No problem at all.
thanks so much again.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right.
We'll see you.